Let's shift our focus now. Israel's army pressed on Sunday with its campaign to southern Gaza to destroy Hamas as prospects dimmed for a ceasefire.
Well, this is, of course, in the more than 4-month-old war, which still continues. Israel has concentrated its military operations in Khan Yunis, the hometown of Hamas Gaza leader Yahya Sinwar, whom it accuses of masterminding the October 7th attack.
Now, Israel's top ally, that's the United States, had signaled that it would veto the latest push for a UN Security Council resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire. Washington favors a temporary truce and hostage release deal. And mediator Qatar acknowledged that separate ceasefire talks had also hit an impasse after Netanyahu rejected some Hamas demands as ludicrous.
The Israeli Prime Minister has rejected calls to spare Rafah, arguing that failing to launch the operation would mean to lose the war. The Israeli military says it is working to move civilians from the area to minimize casualties.
Israel's government, it unanimously adopted a declaration rejecting the recognition of a Palestinian state. Netanyahu said, and I'm quoting here, after the terrible massacre of the 7th of October, there can be no greater reward for terrorism than that, and it will prevent any future peace settlement.
Brazilian President Lula da Silva accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza and compared its actions to Adolf Hitler's campaign to exterminate Jewish people. The comments that sparked a strong Israeli protest. Netanyahu accused Lula of having disgraced the memory of the 6 million Jews murdered by the Nazis and demolished the Jewish state, like most virulent anti-Semites.
He said that the Brazilian leader should be ashamed of himself and that his government had called on Brazilia's ambassador in protest. Hamas, however, praised Lula, saying his remarks were an accurate description of what the people in Gaza are facing.
Today, the president of Brazil, by comparing Israel's war in Gaza against Hamas, a genocidal terrorist organization, to the Holocaust, President Silva has disgraced the memory of 6 million Jews murdered by the Nazis, and he's demonized the Jewish state like the most virulent anti-Semite. He should be ashamed of himself.
In the latest violence in West Bank, 2 Palestinian men, including a member of an armed group, were killed Sunday in an Israeli raid, while a third was shot at a checkpoint. EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell described the situation as being at boiling point and warned that we could be on the eve of a greater explosion here.
The Pentagon stated U.S. forces in the Red Sea successfully conducted 5 self-defense strikes to foil attacks by land and sea from Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen.
As per U.S. Central Command, the strikes included targeting the first observed Houthi employment of an unmanned underwater vessel since the attacks began in October last year. Another of the 5 involved an unmanned surface vessel, essentially a floating drone. The use of such vessels has been comparatively rare here.
Israeli Anastasia Gorbenko shrugged off boos from the crowd at the World Swimming Championship in Doha on Sunday. Gorbenko took silver in the 400-meter freestyle, but the crowd in Qatar whistled when she went up to collect her medal and before in the post-race poolside interview as well.